The tradition at the National Press Club had been, we were fortunate to have, since the beginning of this club in 1908, members of the club were presidents of the United States, starting with Taft. Wilson Taft, the club was then at the Albee Building at 15th and G Streets, and it was an easy walk for the presidents to come to the club. And on the top floor of the Albee Building, they enjoyed the camaraderie and meeting the men who wrote about what they were trying to accomplish to do, and the men got to know them better. So it was a very good collegial atmosphere. And that continued through. Well, Eisenhower really didn't come to the club only to speak, but he was a member and paid dues. And that tradition had continued, so I felt it was incumbent upon me as the president now to make sure that that tradition was continued. But Pierre said he still wants to join the club. He's very interested in the press club. He wants to continue that tradition. I said, that's fine. John, this Pierre, he said, the president's coming over to get his card tonight. I said, wait a minute. I said, what time is he coming? He said, well, I'm not sure. He said, it'd be about 7 o'clock, maybe a little earlier. He said, they have commitments that night, but he said he wants to get his membership card. I said, I can't give it to him. He hadn't paid his initiation fee. What? You going to hold it? I said, that's the rules, and all his predecessors have been dues paying, and they paid the initiation. And he said, I'll get a check. He said, he's going to come, and he said he wants his card. So I got Mrs. Smith, May Smith, who ran the office and did all things like this, and the first thing she said was, he hasn't paid his dues. I said, Mrs. Smith, I have the check right here. Pierre's going to bring it over in a few minutes, and I said, I'll have that for you, and I said, you can start to get the card ready. And she said, you think he's coming? I said, of course. So I said, I'll believe it when I see it. In the lobby at the press club entrance on 14th Street was the President Kennedy standing all by himself. And the first thing he said was, where were you? To Pierre in sort of a concerned voice, in other words, you know. And Pierre said, we got here as soon as he could. So anyway, I took the card out to give to the president, and he thanked me. He said he's very happy to be a member of the press club, and he said, you know, he said, I thought in my career that I would be in your business and to be a journalist. And he said, but I learned that I'm more concerned to getting things done than just reporting how things are done or what has happened. He said, I wanted to make news rather than write it. But he said, I hope when the record is written that I will have contributed some good to both professions. And he thanked me for the card, and he said he had to leave. He said, Jackie's waiting. And he said, I can't stay, I have to go. So he talked to the Chief Justice and to some of the other people, the Speaker, and glad to see them there. As I look back, I didn't fully realize that the press club was really, I knew it was a great place, and I was very happy to be a member, and also now to be an officer. But here the press club had a president who wanted to belong to our club and paid his own dues to belong to it. And at that night, there was the Speaker of the House, the Chief Justice, and the President of the United States, the three branches of the government at this press club by inauguration. He liked the press, he favored the press, and he knew the press could help him in his campaign if they were on good terms with him, of course. He said, when I became president, I was offered to belong to many clubs. He said, but the National Press Club in Washington was the only one that had the decency to charge me.